Hi, Dropart here. This tutorial is going to be about how to use a sidechain compressor as a send effect. The idea here is that sometimes it's much easier to have just a single compressor handling all of your sidechaining rather than specific ones on every channel. This is also possible by using buses, but I've found that in the end that makes routing quite a bit more difficult, and besides, who really likes public transportation anyway? Ha ha ha. So let's get started. I've set up an 808 kit and a organish pad effect sound here that we can use for our sidechaining. Sounds something like this. Yeah, really boring. But that's okay. That's not really what this is all about. So, I'm sure you already know how to set up a sidechain compressor. There's 7.5 million videos about how to do it on YouTube. If you've never seen that, you'll probably actually get everything you need to know out of this video. Basically, drag a compressor into the pad channel, because that's the one we're trying to sidechain compress. And then we are going to click this little arrow here, click the sidechain button, click the kit 808, and then go to here and select... Ooh, sorry, you might not be able to see that whole thing. Well, you can see this. The kit 808 post FX. It doesn't actually matter if it's the post effects or the post mixer. These are all basically the same because we don't have anything on there. And now what we're going to do is lower the threshold down a little bit, raise the ratio. Actually, I'm going to make this a really intense sidechain compression just for this example. Bring the release up a bit, and you should be able to hear now what the sidechain compression sounds like. So without it, and with it. Gives it that nice pumping that is in practically all electronic music nowadays. So how are we going to turn this into a send? Well, pretty easy, drag it in here. But now it's completely worthless because the way that sends work is the signal is sent to the send, and both the original signal and the now compressed sidechain compressed version in the send are both sent to the master channel, which means that basically we get none of the effect because the whole point is that it's taking out part of the signal when it's sidechaining it. So now it just sounds like it originally did, basically. Yeah, that's not really what we want. So what we're going to have to do here is somehow eliminate the original signal. And the way that we're going to do that is by this fancy thing called phase inversion. What we're going to do is group the compressor in the send and go to the chains, and then we're going to drag in a utility. Now, the cool thing that the utility allows us to do is the phase inversion. Click these two buttons right here, and what's actually happening is that the phase of the audio that's getting sent in is getting flipped, which cancels out the original signal. So what happens is the audio comes in, gets sent to this chain, gets completely canceled out, and then this chain here is getting sent out, and what we end up with in the master channel is just the compressed version, which is exactly what we want. So now we're back to how it started, with the sidechain compression working. Woo! And the really cool thing about this is that although you're taking the flexibility of having specific compressors for each channel away, you still are able to configure it to a degree, and it's much less CPU intensive. And the way that you can configure it is that by lowering the send amount, you're actually mixing in a certain amount of the original signal. So you'll actually hear... I'll start it here and I'll start working it in. You'll start to hear the pumping effect coming in slowly as I bring up the send amount. Here, there. So if you want just a really subtle effect, you might just leave it pretty low on one channel, and then if you want the full-on effect, just bring it all the way up. So yep, that's how to use sidechain compression as a send. I hope you found this useful. If you liked it, give me a comment. Thank you.